Hey guys, how's it going? Hellhound here. Welcome to another episode of my show. I'm pretty busy organizing my new room that I moved into, and there's still a few things left in my apartment which I will no longer have access to starting on December 1st. So, but I pretty much got everything that I can live without. I'm gonna go back for that other stuff here eventually, but if they were to tell me today that I can't go back and get it and I'll never see it again, I wouldn't really give a rat's ass. But anyway, I figured I'd have time for a movie review today, and so I went with Basket Case from 1982. This is a very directed by Frank Henenlotter. It's a very original, very unique, very weird movie. Yeah, and so really to tell you the premise and do the review justice, I'll pretty much have to spoil uh, a little bit of it. Basically, okay, it's about a man who's carrying a basket. Now, as for what's in the basket, I'm going to have to spoil it a little bit. But if you read the back of the case, it tells you right away what's in the basket. So I don't feel like I'm actually doing any, revealing any spoilers here. So, plus the movie's 33 years old. So I mean, if you don't want to spoil it, I guess don't watch this video. But really, in order to do this review justice, I'm going to have to. Yeah, I live with 5 other people. I'm renting this room from a house with 5 other people in it. Anyway, moving on. This is a really great movie. As I said, very original. Basically, it's about a man, Dwayne Bradley, played by Kevin Van Hentenryck, who just arrived at a hotel in New York. He's carrying around this mysterious basket. Now, everybody's wondering what's in the basket. He's almost robbed a few times. People think it's carrying money. Nobody knows what's in the basket. Everybody's wondering. Well, it turns out that Dwayne was a Siamese twin. But it wasn't a normal twin that he had. It was some weird-looking growth, basically, what it looks like on the side of his stomach. Essentially just a head atop shoulders and some arms with, claw-like hands at the end of them. Yeah, that thing, basically. And it's called Belial. And so they were separated when Dwayne was a kid, and they're angry at all the doctors who separated them, because I guess apparently they didn't want to be. So, whatever. So they're getting revenge on the doctors. Dwayne takes the basket, Belial pops out, kills and eats them, as well as anybody who tries to get in their way. And so aside from that, Dwayne actually seems fairly normal, and he actually falls in love with one of the receptionists from one of the doctor's offices. Terry Susan Smith, I believe is her name, and I think she was in a punk rock band at the time, so she had a shaved head, but she was wearing a wig during filming of this. There's also a concerned, another tenant in the hotel, played by Beverly Bonner, who takes Frank out to dinner, gets him drunk, and he tells her the whole story about, how him and Belial were Siamese twins, they were separated, everybody hated them, they thought that Belial was just some deformed growth that didn't really have any feelings, no one really cared about him, so, you do kind of feel some sympathy for them. Yeah, this movie's very, very gory. You can see right there. She's got like scissors all in her face and stuff. It's kind of dark in here. I apologize. Still trying to figure out the best lighting for these videos. This is only my second video in my new house. So, but anyway, yeah, very gory. The special effects aren't too great. I really do like the stop motion puppetry. Of Belial. Most of the time he's just a puppet, when he comes out of the basket. But there's a few times it actually shows him moving along the floor, breaking a TV, just all kinds of carnage. And during those scenes he's stop motion, and it's also revealed that him and Dwayne communicate telepathically. Belial actually doesn't talk in the movie, but Dwayne explains that he hears like whispering, like up in his mind. It's actually Belial communicating with him, talking to him. And once Dwayne starts dating and tries to function as a normal members of society, Belial gets kind of jealous, I guess, and so that's kind of when the real mayhem ensues. Yeah, as I said, very interesting, very original concept, very well executed too. I think I love the sleazy New York setting. I love '80s movies that were filmed in New York, or just the big city in general. I mean, it's like Maniac and others like that. Love them. Love the scenery. The character of Dwayne, Kevin Van Hentenryck, he's actually does a really good acting job for a B film. Everybody else in the movie is kind of mostly either mediocre or way too over the top and silly, but it kind of adds to the movie's charm. I've said many times my favorite type of movies are cheesy 80s horror movies. I think those are the most fun and entertaining, and while they may not be very moving or insightful or compelling, they're not going to change your life. They're just such a blast to watch, and this film is no exception. I'd highly recommend you check it out. Something weird video, indeed. I actually like the original cover where it shows a basket, slowly opening. You see some eyes and a claw coming out of it, but this one pretty much just shows you outright what Belial looks like. And, the tenant in room 7 is very small, very twisted, and very mad. So you pretty much know what's going on. I don't think I really spoiled anything by explaining the whole Siamese twin storyline. But yeah, I highly recommend Basket Case. I give it about an 8 out of 10. I guarantee you'll never see anything else like it. Frank Henenlotter definitely had a very wild imagination, and he was very creative. It was followed by 2 sequels, the first of which, Basket Case 2, is actually trying to get in the light there. As I said, I don't really figure out the lighting very good yet, but this is a pretty good follow-up, pretty decent. Basically what happens is, at the end of Basket Case, they both fell out of a window. They were hanging to a sign, and they eventually fell to their death. And their secret was out. It was revealed. Everybody knew that Dwayne Bradley and Belial were Siamese twins who were getting revenge on the doctors that separated them. Everybody, the cat was out of the bag. It was no secret anymore. The mystery was completely gone. And so what happens in this one is revealed they actually survived, and while they're in the hospital, they're rescued by a woman named Granny Ruth, played by the jazz singer Annie Ross. And she has like a home for deformed, mutated freaks. And some of these freaks are very, very elaborate design-wise. They look like aliens. They don't even look human, a lot of them. And they went a little too over the top with it, I'm afraid to say. I'm sorry to report, it's a little too much. It's just they're a little too bizarre, a little too out there for me. I love the grotesque and the macabre as much as any other horror fan, but these freaks are a little too weird looking. You can kind of see some of them right there. I apologize for the poor lighting. I'll have to figure that out before I do another video. We got like a guy who's like shaped like a moon. He's got like a moon head, but not like the one from Nightbreed. This one just like totally all twisted and weird. This guy has like huge piano key looking teeth. This woman whose head is like all the way up here. It looks like a tree. There's all these weird looking, crazy looking things, and the costumes are just really out there. But aside from that, it's a pretty cool storyline. I like how Dwayne and Belial are staying with some woman who's taking care of them. They're trying to keep their existence on the down low. There's nosy reporters everywhere, trying to get a story and trying to, they're all constantly hassling the House of Freaks, Granny Ruth and her freaks that she's taking care of. It's a pretty cool storyline there, and there's some great kills in it as well. So I think overall it's a decent sequel, but those creatures are just a little much. I think they kind of stood out a little bit. I don't think they quite fit in. Frank Henenlotter probably should have made a separate movie, maybe called House of Freaks, and just saved Dwayne and Belial for something else. They should have separated the two, because I don't know, it was a little too much and kind of took away from my enjoyment. Maybe I'm being closed-minded, I don't know, but I've had a lot of people watch this with me, and had some weird expressions on their face, and they kind of look at me like, "You like this crap?" But hey, I still love it. I think it's still a decent follow-up. I'd give it about a 7 out of 10. Now, the third film, Basket Case 3, the progeny, had the intricate storyline of Belial, who he had a mate named Eve, who's pretty much the same kind of deformed mutant that he is. She was introduced in the second film, and here they have babies. They have a bunch of kids. There's probably maybe 6 or 7 of them. I think that was an interesting storyline. Unfortunately, and Kevin Van Hentenryck is still good as Dwayne. He returns again. He's always a pretty great character. I like following his story arc through the 3 films. I thought it was pretty interesting. Now that was a good premise. However, I'm sorry, but the freaks are back in this movie. They're even more ridiculous than the second film, and the kills are just way too out there. I don't know. Yeah, there's some of the freaks right there. And, there's one of the kills. Dwayne strangles this guy. His eyeballs pop out. His teeth pop out. He also bites this guy's face off. It's some of the worst special effects I've ever seen. Not just, poor effects, but they're just way too over the top and surreal. It's just a little too out there. The first film was bizarre enough, but the sequel's definitely up the over-the-top factor and made it way more bizarre. Taking a strange concept and just totally going all out with it. I don't really recommend Basket Case 3, The Progeny. I think it was kind of a misfire. I would stick with the first 2. But you can check out this one too if you want to see Belial having kids. But be warned, all the kills are absolutely terrible, ruined by crappy-looking, ridiculous effects. And some really disgusting-looking deformed mutations that, are way too unrealistic, even for a Basket Case film. There's no way these kind of creatures would exist. But anyway, most of all, I recommend the first film. The sleazy New York setting is absent from the sequels, unfortunately, but I'd still check them out if you want to see the continuing saga of Dwayne and Belial. And if you still haven't had enough, they both make a cameo appearance in the movie Brain Damage, also directed by Frank Henenlotter. And he also did a movie called Frankenhooker, which I highly recommend as well. That's a pretty crazy movie too. It's a shame he hasn't done more because I really like his style. He had some very creative ideas, which are pretty much absent in Hollywood right now with all the remakes and all. But anyway, that's my review of Basket Case from 1982. I highly recommend you check it out and see the sequels too. Even though I'd really recommend you skip over part 3. All right, thank you for watching my video. I'm Hellhound, and until next time.